They are the finest fighting force in the modern world. 40 Marines, trained killers, armed with M4 carbines, grenades, night vision, and a century of tactical warfare evolution. But what if, through some cosmic glitch, some twisted joke of fate, they were dropped into the heart of the Roman Empire, 117 AD, the peak of Rome's power, no backup, no resupply, no extraction? Could 40 Marines armed with modern weapons conquer the greatest empire the ancient world had ever seen? Or would they become just another forgotten legend, whispered in the shadows of the Colosseum? Welcome to What If War. Today we're sending the few, the proud, 2,000 years into the past. Picture this, day 1. The platoon materializes in a forest outside Rome. The sergeant grabs his radio. Command, this is Alpha 1, do you copy? Command, nothing. Because command won't exist for another 2 millennia. Modern warfare is built on one thing, communication. Real-time intel, GPS coordinates, encrypted radios. A Marine can call in an airstrike from 12 miles away with 3 words and a grid reference. But the Romans, they use flags, horns, runners on horseback, and a lot of screaming. Now imagine trying to explain a flanking maneuver to a Roman centurion who only understands 2 commands, charge and fall back. The platoon spots a Roman patrol. The lieutenant tries hand signals. The Romans think he's casting a curse. One Marine yells, "Contact right." A legionnaire thinks he's being challenged to single combat. Chaos, pure chaos. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Marines need local intelligence. They need to know, where's the emperor? How many legions are nearby? What are the supply routes? So they grab a Roman merchant. Through broken gestures and drawing in the dirt, they try to communicate. The merchant thinks they're drunk, or gods, possibly both. One Marine tries to use a tablet to draw a map. The Roman thinks it's a magic mirror and runs away screaming. But communication is just the beginning, because even if they could talk to the Romans, how would they explain what happens when they run out of bullets? Each Marine carries approximately 210 rounds of 5.56mm ammunition, 7 magazines, 30 rounds each, against an empire of 60 million people. Let's do the math. If they fire conservatively, they have maybe 3 firefights before they're empty. And then what? Modern military logistics is a beautiful, complex beast. Supply chains, cargo planes, forward operating bases. Every bullet, every battery, every MRE is tracked and delivered. But in 117 AD, the nearest gun factory is literally 2,000 years away. So our Marines get creative. They find a Roman blacksmith. Through desperate charades, they try to explain what a bullet casing is. The blacksmith looks at the brass cartridge like it's alien technology, because it is. He can melt down the brass, sure. But the primer, the powder charge, the precise tolerances needed, impossible. Then there's the vehicles. The platoon has one Humvee. It runs on diesel. The Romans have olive oil. Guess which one doesn't work in a combustion engine? By day 3, the Humvee is a 2-ton paperweight. The Marines are on foot, just like the legions they're supposed to conquer. And let's talk about food. Marines survive on MREs, meals ready to eat, 3,600 calories of processed science. They've got maybe 40 of them. That's enough for one day, for the whole platoon. After that, it's Roman cuisine, garum, fermented fish sauce, stale bread, rancid olive oil. One Marine tries the garum and immediately throws up. But the Romans, they find an abandoned MRE. They open the jalapeno cheese spread. For them, it's like tasting food from Mount Olympus, starving, running out of ammo, no vehicles. But the real culture shock, that hasn't even started yet. Rome smells, not like forgot to shower smells, like civilization without plumbing smells. Open sewers, unwashed bodies, Animal waste in the streets. One Marine pulls out hand sanitizer. The Romans think it's perfume. He becomes instantly popular. But the smell is nothing compared to the cultural minefield. The Marines witness a slave auction, a public execution, a gladiator fight, things that make their blood boil. But they're 40 men in a hostile world. What can they do? One Marine can't take it. He tries to free a slave. The slave runs away, terrified, because to him, this strange man in bizarre clothing isn't a savior, he's a lunatic. Then there's the technology gap. A Marine pulls out a lighter, flicks it, flame. The Romans gasp. Some kneel, others reach for their swords. Is it magic? Divine power? Night vision goggles? Witchcraft? A flashlight? A captured piece of the sun? One Marine makes the mistake of taking a selfie. The Romans see their own faces in the glowing rectangle and riot. The platoon realizes something terrifying. Their technology doesn't make them powerful here. It makes them targets, because anything they can't explain becomes a threat to Roman authority. And Rome doesn't negotiate with threats. It crucifies them. So how do you conquer an empire when showing your power might get you killed? The answer lies in something every Marine learns in boot camp. But the Romans have never seen before. The Marines need allies, intelligence, a way inside the power structure. So they do the unthinkable. They march to Rome, openly, carrying white cloth. The Roman guards laugh. 40 men against the legions. This will be entertaining. But then they see the weapons, the armor, the perfect formation, the cold, professional silence. These aren't barbarians. These are something else. They're brought before a Roman general. Through a terrified interpreter, the lieutenant tries to explain. We come from the future. The interpreter hesitates. We have weapons that kill from great distance. We seek audience with Emperor Trajan. The general laughs. Prove it. The Marines demonstrate. One shot, a target 300 meters away. The bullet hits before the sound reaches the Romans. Silence, then panic. Now the Marines have leverage. But here's the problem. Intimidation only works if you have infinite ammunition. And they don't, so they pivot. They offer knowledge, engineering, tactics. The sergeant shows them a simple pulley system they've never optimized. A better way to aim a ballista. Small things. The Romans are fascinated, suspicious, terrified. One senator proposes an alliance, another wants them executed. A third thinks they're gods, testing Rome's virtue. The Marines are walking a razor's edge. One wrong move, one cultural mistake, and Rome's entire military might comes down on them. But they're Marines. Improvise, adapt, overcome. So could they actually do it? Could 40 men cut off from everything they know actually conquer Rome? Let's be honest. If the Marines went full scorched earth, if they ambushed legion after legion, used guerrilla tactics, terror, and every bullet they had, they could kill thousands, maybe tens of thousands. But Rome had 30 legions, over 150,000 professional soldiers, and the Marines have 8,400 bullets total. The math doesn't work, not for total conquest. But here's what they could do. They could kill Emperor Trajan, a single bullet, one shot, chaos. They could destroy aqueducts, burn supply depots, assassinate senators, not conquest, sabotage, or they could go another route. They could become Rome. Think about it. They have knowledge, tactics, discipline that puts even the legions to shame. What if they didn't destroy Rome, but took it over from within? Train a loyal cohort, introduce innovations slowly, win battles for ambitious generals, become indispensable. Within a year, they're not invaders, they're legends. The men of iron, Praetorian guards, advisors to the emperor. Within 5 years, one of them is emperor. But here's the real question. Would they even want to? Because the Marines came from a world with coffee, hot showers, the internet, air conditioning, rights, laws, medicine, and now they're stuck in a world of slavery, disease, and brutal conquest. Forever. So maybe the real question isn't whether they could conquer Rome, it's whether they'd survive long enough to realize they never wanted to. 40 Marines versus the Roman Empire. On paper, modern technology wins. Every time. But war isn't fought on paper. It's fought in mud, blood and chaos, with supply lines that don't exist, ammunition that runs out, and enemies who keep coming. The Marines would be legends, stories told in the dark corners of Rome, the metal men, the thunder warriors, the strangers who fell from the sky. But would they conquer Rome? Maybe not the way you think, because the real conquest wouldn't be military. It would be cultural, technological, a single platoon, changing the course of history, one terrified Roman at a time. And somewhere, in an alternate timeline, there's a statue in the Roman Forum, not of Julius Caesar, but of a United States Marine. That was What If War, where history meets imagination, and the impossible becomes the next great battlefield. What did you think? Could the Marines actually pull it off? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more mind-bending military what-ifs, hit that subscribe button, because next week we're dropping modern tanks into World War I. Stay tactical, stay curious, and remember, history is written by the victors, but what-ifs, they're written by us.